There you go. Welcome, man.
Yeah, let's go, man. This is a cool setup. You got whole studio.
Yeah, this is great. It's good to have you, man. Like, we were just talking about it. I was like, "You want to do a podcast?" You're like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like,
Of course.
let's go. Yeah. So it's good to have you. That is the greatest energy drink
the
you're ever gonna drink.
Go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna try it out here. Will this give me superpowers or like what?
So, yeah, I mean, I like to, say that it gives you a little extra twist at the end of your punch.
Oh, whoa.
So
that's good.
Orange is pretty good. My favorite flavor is green apple.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be my favorite. I love green apple.
Pink lemonade is also really, really good. But it's 95 milligrams caffeine, so it's not like too much. You're not like going crazy.
Sure.
And then it's got a bunch of nootropics, so it's like kind of like Joe Rogan's like Alpha Brain. You're basically drinking that.
Nice.
So, dude, it's like focus in a can. For 3 hours, I drink one of these, and I'm just like,
damn,
super
there you
focused. Go. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is your start, because I think so many kids out here they want to be YouTubers, they want to do more, in creating content, but they don't know where to start. And everybody has a different story that gets them from 0 to 1.
Yes. So
tell that story.
Yeah, so how I got started, well, I was someone who always loved watching YouTube videos, whether that be, early Nelk Boys to just, that edutainment, things like that. And I was like, you know what? Why couldn't I do this? And for the longest time, I remember being 8 years old, and I watched a video on YouTube of the world's strongest 4-year-old. And this dude was walking on his hands, backflips off of tables, doing handstand like push-ups. I'm like, dude, how can he do? Like, he's 4 and I'm 8. And I was like, all right, I gotta do
twice
something.
This dude's age.
Yeah, I gotta do something cool. And I think early on, I always kind of had that tick in me that I wanted to do something that maybe like the majority of people weren't. And I taught myself, self-taught how to walk on my hands. And so when I could walk around the hands on my house, I had my dad make a video and post it to YouTube. So that video is still up there to this day on, kind of my dad's channel there.
Wow.
It's Cayden Henschel or Cayden walking on hands. So you can see that. And, I reenacted that video when we moved 12 years later, and that video like blew up. So that's super cool. But ever since then, I wanted to post YouTube videos. And my dad really never taught me how to do YouTube. And I didn't have a phone. I'm 8 years old. This was,
You're 8 years old?
Yeah, this was like 2009. And like...
Oh, I'm expecting like you're a middle schooler or in high school.
Because, that's when I think I started, of course, producing more of the content and really having more ideas. There's another video of me doing flag football and like getting a touchdown, and like I still look
Wisconsin,
at those videos.
I've missed that. Flag.
Flag?
Flag.
What do you? I said flag.
You use like flag,
a flag,
big.
a flag,
yeah, flag.
Oh, flag football.
You're like born and raised Wisconsin.
Oh yeah. But
sorry, go on.
Yeah, and then nothing really happened. I've messed around with video games, like getting HD PVR it was called at the time. Like I didn't even have an Elgato, and there's a mystery channel. You guys have no idea how to find it, of me gaming. You can hear my like little squeaker voice on there. But then come to high school, I'm more tech savvy, so I self-taught how to edit on a really outdated Cyberlink Power Director, and I would sit down 6 hours, 8 hours at a time, just figuring out what is going on, the texts, how to download music. Like that's a whole struggle in itself to figure out that there's a thing called YouTube to MP3.
Yeah.
Like there's all these things that I never knew going into it. But I think the big thing for me was I love the process of it. Just like wrestling, you can't be good at wrestling unless you love the process. You can't just love the outcome, because you're not going to get to that outcome unless you love what you're doing. Right. So that was really how I got started, and ever since then, wrestling content.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sure.
Like, what was that first editing software you used?
Cyberlink Power Director. Do you even know what that is?
No, I'm thinking I started on Windows Movie Maker, Pinnacle, Avid.
This was
Premiere.
an outdated Dell computer, and like this was a software that I think you have to go to like the library and you'd have like a disc, and it's like that's your software. It's so old. It was so old.
Yeah.
And it would take a whole day to export a video on like 720p.
Oh yeah.
Now, of course, technology where I try to get all my videos in 4K and stuff, and now does that in like an hour, so it's a lot better.
Dude, well, I feel like I'm waiting like 20 minutes for a 1080p.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, dude, like let's move this thing along.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So now it's all wrestling content on YouTube. You've got one of the biggest wrestling pages on YouTube. Talk a little bit about that, because it's like, it's a I was surprised to see that. I knew you had a lot of followers, but it kind of hit me in the face. I was like, whoa, like that's a ton. I mean, you're up there with like Flow Wrestling with the Kerry Colots, you know, pinnacle of the sport.
It's really weird. And here's the thing. Recently, I made a video on, you know, the top 5 wrestling YouTube channels. And, you know, Crosby's giving me crap all the time because he's saying, wow, he just made this for an ego boost. And Crosby keeping me in check that way. But
that was cool, though. Yeah. I was like, yo, that's sweet.
It's cool. But at the end of the day, personally for me, I wish there were so many more people more subscribed on YouTube because that means that people actually like wrestling content. Yeah. And if I'm at the top, I know what I'm doing. It's like I have to set the standard. And right. I want to be able to like reach for something, to look for something else. And it's hard when I can't go on YouTube and say, okay, what are other wrestling creators doing that I can tap into? But there's nothing like that because I'm the one setting the standard, and I wish I wasn't. So of course there's things to learn about, you know, those different wrestling channels and stuff. But when you have USA Wrestling uploading 400,000 videos to their YouTube channel, and I mean, like Flow's a whole team, and it's hard for myself to do, I guess, more maybe than I'm already doing, especially when it comes to, you know, school, training, life comes at you. So now it's like I'm 21. It's like I got to make this a thing now. So if I'm doing this, it's a full-time job, but I love it.
That's like that hit me in the face when I was your age too. It was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, like I got to do this because I'm going to be relying on it, you know, pretty soon here when I'm out of college. And that's, I think, the good news is you're having that conversation with yourself because I think a lot of people graduate and then they go, oh crap.
Yeah.
You know, and then they miss their opportunity.
Sure.
I think that if you don't start a business in college, the barrier to entry gets so much higher when you're out in the real world. And business, YouTube channel, whatever it is, right? A side hustle, like it just, the barrier to entry when you get real world responsibilities and all these things thrown at you, it gets heavy.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. You know, I'm moving in to an apartment, first actual apartment off campus, and you know, this is my last kind of couple weeks at fully, like, you know, at my kind of, you know, my mom and dad's house, you know, ever since a kid. So it's kind of like leaving the nest a little bit more. So I'm really looking forward to that part. Making my own food now. I'm not on the Parkside meal plan, so we'll see how that goes.
That's a big step.
Yeah, it's a big step, but it's like all these little things that like I'm so looking forward to this next year, and like I know that, you know, I could be eating way better, and guess what? It's all up to me. It's not relying on, you know, the calf. It's not relying on, you know, like your work to make rent now. It's all these things. So I'm super excited.
Dude, that's awesome. Sure. Well, I'm excited because you got 2 more years of eligibility.
Yeah, 2 more years. A lot of people don't know that.
Dude, so. I had no idea. I thought you were a senior, but it's kind of like when you're it's kind of like your favorite show gets like 2 extra seasons.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, let's go. You know, the story gets to continue because
I don't want the story to end, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you got big things coming for wrestling.
Yeah.
Anything you're like doing specifically to improve your training, your mindset, like what's going on as far as you on the mat?
Yeah, other than like submitting you earlier today. No, I'm just kidding. John wrecked me.
Wrestling trifecta, man. But now you know.
Yeah,
you know the wrestling trifecta. You can just go and submit all your friends.
Yeah, but so training at Askren, so at Max's Academy.
Let's go.
You know, he knows so much there. Getting in there, but going back to Parkside, dude, those summer practices and stuff. But it's hard when I'm traveling and doing all these things and making videos because that cuts into a lot of my time, whether it's, you know, creative energy, physical energy, that, you know, getting into like my lifting time and stuff that way. So
right.
I'll say this one thing is that I am not lifting near as much as I did last year. One is because I'm getting like way heavier compared to than I was last year. And so that kind of early on was like, okay, am I actually going to be able to wrestle 141 pounds?
Right.
And like now, of course, I definitely think I can. I wrestled at the street league, so that was a super cool opportunity with Stalemates and getting kind of my mind in that like summer wrestling. And yes, you have, you know, the world team trials and stuff, and but for it to be a folk style match, and now having to adjust with those new rules in there, so 3-point takedowns and such. But
that's wild.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that 3-point takedown rule?
I think it'll help me just because I'm not a turner at all. Like I wish I was. I wish I could put people away. But I think for me, it'll open up gaps a lot easier. Of course, it sucks if you're on the other side of it, but
right. Yeah, that's
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I can't judge it now because I haven't had, you know, you can't even judge matches right now based on prior matches because of the
Right.
point differential now. So it's different.
True.
Like,
oh, I didn't even think
you know what
about
I mean?
that. Yeah, it's like a completely different. If you were to go back and score a match from last year with the current rule set, it'd be totally different. But then
Yeah.
how they adjust to that rule set and like, oh, I'm down, I need to put the pace on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm winning, I can coast.
Yeah. There's going to be a mental flip that you have to learn in the practice room too. Like, you always have to be thinking of this new rule and being like, okay, he's up by 8 points. Oh wait, that's really 2 takedowns and a turn
Right.
and I'm winning.
Wow. Yeah, that's
don't know.
crazy to think. Because I know, so my freshman year of college, it was the same rule set. My sophomore year of college, they went to 4-point near fall.
Okay.
And I was like, let's go.
Sure.
I was like, I'm the opposite of you. I'm like, less takedowns, more top bottom.
Okay.
So I thought it was like, I was like, this is like, overpowered almost. Like if I get the turn, then I have a way more, it's basically favoring top wrestling, and I get the riding point. I was like, it's over. But now with the 3-point takedown, it almost reshuffles the entire deck because the value of a 2-point tilt and an escape go down.
Ultimately, I think the rule change was because they needed to undervalue the escape, I think.
Yeah.
Not necessarily making the takedown worth more, but making the differential from the escape different.
Right.
That makes
So
sense.
the differential of like you take him down, you let him up, that's 2 points. You take him down, you let him up, that's 2 points.
Honestly, like, they could have made an escape half a point, right?
That now we're getting really complicated.
Yeah, now it's getting really complicated, but I thought about that. Why couldn't they? But
wrestling fans, myself included, I don't think we like math.
no, that's true. That's true. That's a good point.
Keep it simple. So tell me about this podcast, because honestly, I thought it was like, okay, he's done with college wrestling. This is what I thought.
Sure.
Obviously didn't know. And I was like, he's moving over to the podcast space. I was like, that's so smart. He can capitalize on the YouTube audience and start doing these awesome podcasts with awesome guests that you had on. Tell me a little bit about that, because you guys travel full time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You don't have like a home studio. I'm a little spoiled.
Oh yeah, I know. It would be so nice to have a studio, like fly people in and stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, when you're here at Happy Valley, I mean, the best wrestlers in the world are here, combat athletes. So it's insane.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But yeah, Clash of Combat, our podcast, me and Crosby running it, and we started in April. And I'll tell you about our first story on how we got Gable Steveson as our first guest.
Let's go.
So, I'm reaching out to, all these wrestlers, top wrestlers, and we want to get someone that, a lot of people know. Actually, no, I'm going to rephrase that. We wanted to start low. We wanted to start at the bare minimum so that I could only go up, right?
You're like, Gable Steveson, Olympic champion.
No.
Superstar backflips.
Yeah, man. But I'm DMing, I'm reaching out. He goes, he responded to a couple DMs before, so I know he like looks through them, and he said, yeah, I'm free in the next 2 weeks. And I'm like, we weren't planning on starting the podcast for another 2 months. And I'm like, we can't say no.
You got to do
because
it.
we have to do it. And so we went, and we drove that 6 hours, and me, Crosby, Superman made the drive up there, and man, like, wow, like, he's like put together guy. We had such a great time out there. Great podcast, great conversations, and you brought us to the in his G-Wagon to the wrestling room, rolled around there, filmed some stuff. But like, man, that was just a great experience. And from then, just going guest to guest, and dang, now we're here. Second Penn State trip here. So
That's awesome. Well, I hope you keep coming back.
yeah,
Yeah, because
I sure
it's
hope
great
so.
to have you guys here. And yeah, dude. So you were like, okay, 2 weeks, we got to get our ducks in a row. We got to immediately. We got an Olympic champ we're gonna interview.
Yeah,
And it's
especially because he's like a ghost. He doesn't really, especially at that time. This was before he committed that he could do the U.S. Open.
Right.
So at this time, he had no there was no podcast. There's only one podcast I think on YouTube. That's with DC, and it was like a 20-minute thing.
Yeah.
And especially like how we're so close in age, that's why I think we can relate to a lot of these wrestlers, because there's other wrestling podcasts that do a phenomenal job, but I don't think they have that. There's just that age difference. Like we're competing like alongside them, of course, different divisions, but I think there's that camaraderie in that way.
Yeah, and there's an opportunity there that you miss out on if you wait a couple years,
Sure.
if you wait any amount of time, and you're asking different questions, and the vibe is different, like the camaraderie, like you said. We talked about this earlier, like you're asking different questions than a lot of these mainstream more mainstream news outlets,
Yeah.
right? And because of that, people open up a little bit more. They tell funny stories.
Sure.
It's more like they're talking to their friends. They're not in interview mode.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like shelled up.
Yeah, one comment said it's like a broadcast.
Yeah,
I was like, I think a broadcast. I think I want to continue with that and maybe get better on that. So.
Yeah, I think the more like authentic the conversations and you're just relaxed and free flowing, the better.
Yeah, man, it's fun.
It is. I'm enjoying seeing everything come out. So I want to talk to you about this, college athletes, and I think there's obviously tons of pros of playing sports in college, but there are some cons, and I think that it is that people get stuck into doing sports, school, and nothing else. And they're like, oh, I'm doing sports and school and nothing else. And then when they graduate, they rely on the major, and that's fine for a lot of people. But if you can fit in a third side hustle,
Sure.
that's where you're going to find massive success.
Yeah, especially like when like really life hits you and it's like you have to pay for stuff. Like like the transition from high school to college, that was like that first year I didn't have, that money in the bank to pay for school. Thankfully, my parents had like a college, some fund set up for me, so I could like pay through that way. And at the time, they were like chirping me like, Cayden, like start working a job. And that I hated working. I absolutely hated working. Did masonry jobs, did like a job on at some like not assembly line, but something similar, and I hated it. Like quit it after like 3 weeks. I'm like, dude, like what am I doing? Of course I'm still doing YouTube at this time, but this was before you could really make money with YouTube. And so I was in that weird phase, and I'm like I know this YouTube can work out. Like I just need to do it. I just need to make it happen. So thankfully the NIL passed. I'm like that was probably one of the happiest days like of my I guess YouTube career in that sense, because I could actually make it work.
I imagine, yeah.
So now, thankfully,
like Christmas.
Yeah, it was better than Christmas, dang. But now I've just been blessed with brand opportunities, and people are loving what I'm posting, whether that be that entertainment or education content on YouTube. So it's been fun, it's been cool, it's been very rewarding. I'm just really grateful I can continue it.
Dude, that's awesome. That's I think it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do at Ocean, is like give athletes and coaches a better opportunity and more resources and a whole platform really to teach their techniques and to interact with their followers and their fans and provide value to them and get rewarded for it, right?
Yeah.
If you can make our platform your side hustle, right? You upload content of you showing moves, upload content of you breaking down positions, and the people that love your wrestling and love your style, they're going to resonate with that, and it's going to help them out a lot.
Yeah, man, 100%. I'm excited to come out with my wrestling course. I've been thinking about it for like so long, ever since really I started doing the top 5 moves. I'm like, I would love to do like a wrestling course, like a full thing, but coming out soon.
Can we give a little teaser on what's going to be in the course?
Well, it's going to be me wrestling, I'll tell you that. But, it's going to be, I wanted to make it more like how they're fun YouTube videos. And so I think a lot in wrestling courses, it's just the guy showing the move. He can be great at wrestling, sure, but can you really make it fun and so they can learn from it, learn from it?
Yes.
And I think I can incorporate that in a way that really maybe hasn't been done in a way that I think I maybe could do better in a little way. And so I think that what maybe could differentiate me. And they're going to be entertaining videos nonetheless.
Yes.
Like, yes, they're going to have technique, but like I'll tell you, like you're going to learn and you're going to have fun watching them. So.
There's a podcaster, Patrick Bet-David. You know him?
No, I don't.
He uses the term valuetainment a lot.
Valuetainment.
And I like that. It was like what you're saying. Like, you want to entertain the people, you want to give them value. And no, I think you're going to be great at doing that. The thing that we try to stay away from at Ocean too is, like you said, like, welcome to my instruction.
Sure.
Today, it's like so scripted, and it's not the broadcast.
Yeah,
it's not the relaxed vibe. We like to have a little fun with it. So I try to tell our instructors, when I'm filming with them, I was like, imagine you're talking to kids at a clinic, at a camp, right? And the ones that have done a bunch of clinics, they immediately just, boom, they get into that little goofy kind of mood, but they're still showing great stuff, and you're entertained while getting value out of the position.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I think you're gonna crush it. Now, do you know what positions? Because I've heard through the grapevine you're a Greco guy.
I mean, a little bit. I don't practice Greco anymore, so I mean, no, but I think it'll be mostly neutral.
Mostly neutral,
for sure.
takedowns and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
That'd be good. I mean, that's the majority of where wrestling takes place, right? So that's
Yeah.
going to be the majority of the value that
Yeah.
you can provide for people.
yes, sir.
Yeah. So, who did you wrestle in the Whitewater Duel this year?
I wrestled Dakarius Clay, I think his name is.
Dakari.
Dakari Clay.
That's my guy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh no, man, he's strong. Definitely, when he was stepping on scale, I'm like, dude, is he the 49?
Yeah,
Nah, he's the 41. He's got big legs. I'm like, dude, he's ripped.
He's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he actually faced, I think, Cole Matthews in the first round, and it was a close match. He's a stud.
Yeah. How did the match go? I didn't watch.
I think it was 3-1. It was super. I feel like I just didn't take much shots and was kind of scared. It was our first duel of the year, so
Yeah.
I mean, I always have those jitters, and maybe focus on getting better on those. Just really relying on my skill, like really believing that I'm that much better than the guys. But
Right.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's funny. I got a funny story from the Parkside Duel when I was in college. My sophomore year, I'm getting more and more injured as the days go on, and I remember I wasn't sure that I was gonna wrestle, and I can't really remember why, but I was 13 pounds over like the day of the duel.
What?
12 and a half, but still. Why is a good question, Cayden. It's a good question.
Water weight or food?
Both. And so I do one workout and I get down like 5, and I'm like, okay, cool. We're chilling. We're chilling. I go to practice. I get off like another 4, right? And then it's a 1 hour weigh-in. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna warm up before. So I was like, I can count on a little bit there. And I think I had to do another workout and then the 1 hour weigh-in. Basically, by the time I get to the match, I'm like so overdrawn and just extended. I'm like, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if this guy has any gas tank, it's over.
Right.
The entire match, it's 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. He's winning, and then at the very end, he gets the riding time point, and I'm like, oh, dude, it's over. I throw a Granby and end up on the getting him on his back. 1,
No way.
2, yeah, pull it out of my butt.
Damn, that's impressive. I'll give you that.
I ran off the mat. I was like, I'm so exhausted. I'm never cutting that much weight in my life.
Yeah, I
again.
would not suggest I'm being 13 over the day of. So.
Are you? Are you pretty close? You stay like close to your weight class?
Yeah, I usually stay close to the same. Usually, I would walk in on, let's say the duel's on Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe Monday I walk in at 48 if I'm heavy, I would say. Now I think it's going to be maybe 50. But I mean, we'll see. I haven't really had that string of like 5 days of losing weight like consistently and getting in the room that much. So we'll see. But yeah, usually I'm pretty close. What was I going to say? I don't know.
What weights did you wrestle in high school?
120 my freshman year, 26 sophomore, and then 32.
32. Nice. And did you always wrestle at Max's Academy?
No, I wrestled at Ringers a lot before. So
Okay.
I only switched to Max's after I lost my junior year of high school. So I was Ringers all the way from middle school
From
through high
COVID?
school.
Or no?
No, well, the reason I switched.
How'd you lose your junior year of high school?
That was I didn't make it to state. Number 1 seed going to sectionals, lose to Spuler, who's my teammate now, and then I just choke the last match and I'm out.
Dang.
So yeah, but then from then switched to Max's Academy. Crosby was already going there, and I mean the guys they have there were just best in the state, so it makes no sense on not going there. And the technique, learning those things. Now I mean it's just like a monopoly at this point. You got to go. I mean,
yeah,
what they're doing, they're working. There's a reason they have so much Fargo champs. Like there's been years, of course, where we had 0-0 Fargo champs, and now it's like we're getting tons. So
yeah,
it's great.
It's really cool. I mean, dude, Max is the man, Ben is the man, and they have such a system of what they show and how they progress kids, and and how they deal with the kids, and like it's a fun environment. It's not like they're overworking anybody. Sure. Oh, dude, it's really cool to be around.
Yeah.
So Ringers is not around anymore.
No, I think it still is.
It is?
It still is.
Which is the one that's now AWA South Shore?
Higher level or higher level? Wait.
That's
That's
AWA
AWA?
South Shore.
Oh, I have no idea.
That Newman runs. Oh, frick. I thought it was Ringers. I'm blanking.
No,
It's like closer to Milwaukee, like Franklin area.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, I
don't know.
butchering it. Anyway,
they have so many acronyms
they have
now.
So many AWAs.
Yeah.
They basically like run Wisconsin wrestling. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, and there's only one M2.
No,
Or
there's
is there
so now
multiple?
there's two. There's one here, and then there's one in Jersey, Buxton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, dude, that's another place that's doing it right. There's a lot of people that drive really, really far distances to be coached by David. And have you been in M2?
No, I've not.
Dude, it's really cool.
Man, I'm in DMing him, and he opened it. He said, "Let's do it," but he's not getting back to me for a time. So, David, accept the time, please.
David, get back to my
Come
grind.
on.
That'd be cool. There's that's it's the same kind of vibe as like you would get in like AWA Heartland, or I guess Max's Academy too. But like, you got people from driving from all over, and then you're like, that guy's a state champ. That guy's a state champ. That guy's getting beat up, and I didn't know that he's also a state champ.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they've got so Levi Haynes was there, and Levi was driving like I think 2 hours every day to get to practice for years.
Really?
Yeah, and his parents just committed to driving him there, and then boom, next thing you know, he's at Penn State and having all the success there.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so it happens quickly. So, where's the next trip to?
Well, we're doing. I wouldn't say we're going to Iowa.
Okay.
So, and it'll just be one guy.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to Iowa like 4 or 5 separate times now. It's a lot closer than Penn State. So, but yeah, we'll do Real Woods there.
Mm-hmm.
Share his story and scrap with him. Put on the line with him. So that should be fun. But
Let's go.
Spencer was telling me that it probably won't work out well, but we're gonna see.
Real's pretty good.
He's all right.
Yeah,
he's
he's decent.
Man, yeah, we're gonna see.
Yeah, no, that'll be fun. And so when you go and you do podcasts, do you do a vlog accompanying it?
Yeah, I try to. It's hard too because of sometimes I feel like I'm taking or I'm asking too much of them. Like I ask if they have time, and a lot of times they are busy and they're going to practice and doing all these things. So and when they film with me, it's like we're still wrestling or whatever that may be, and I just they gotta still shower after that, they gotta eat, and all these things. So it gets kind of hard for that, but ideally it would be perfect if we do a guest and a vlog with them as well, because that would be perfect.
Yeah, kind of a day in the life. It's tough because they don't really know what they're committing to when they come into it. But so I hear you. Like
it's so much on the fly.
Yeah,
so much on the fly.
Yeah, well, I mean, like just like today, I was like, do we have an SD card? We got to get this podcast going. But I think that's when like you have to be prepared for those kinds of things, because like if you're constantly just prepped all the time, then you can do that stuff. If you don't have your ducks in a row, you're not organized, you don't know how the system works, then you get all over the place. Yeah, wild. Well, I'm glad we did this, man.
Yeah, no, this is cool.
How are you feeling on the Jocko?
Good. I haven't been sipping it. Just been talking my mouth off, but I'll drink some more. Yeah, it's good. It's really tasty.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, 3 hours of focus. Use JB Video 10 for 10% off. Heck yeah. Well, awesome podcast. I got to get back to the gym and film an instructional.
Ooh.
So that'll be good.
Well, good luck. Have fun.
Thanks, Todd.
Let's do it.